nations, they happen to be scattered throughout all the countries of the king. And what was his complaint about these people? Why do we have to go ahead and destroy these people? They're not doing the laws of the king. They have their own set of rules, they have their own set of laws, and that's what they're fulfilling. They're different. So Haman came to Achashverosh and he said the reason we have the problem with the Jews are the Jewish problem is that they are different than anyone else. And that's why Purim actually relates more to people who live even outside of Israel, or outside of thriving Jewish communities, so to speak, because Purim represents the Jew, how he finds himself in all the 127 different countries. In fact, it says, as we know, the joy of Purim, it says it's greater than any other of all the other holidays, even the biblical holidays. And the reason it says it's greater is specifically because we were the Jewish people in 127 different countries, not necessarily, mostly not in the land of Israel, land of Eretz Yisrael, and yet in those places, they didn't do the laws of the country, they did the laws that Hashem, that God gave them. And this is what, and when they had those laws, that's why she tried to single them out, because they were different than everybody else. And sometimes when if we had all been living, if Eretz Mashiach will all be living in Eretz Yisrael, but had we all been living right now in Eretz Yisrael, all our neighbors would be Jewish people. Pesach is Pesach for everybody, Sukkot is Sukkot for everybody, Shavuos is Shavuos for everybody. But specifically because we find ourselves in 127 different countries, all over the world and scattered, and there we express our Judaism, that's the power that Purim has, and that's why it's even stronger. Because when you have the tides working against you, and when you have the cultures that on your own, you wouldn't become necessarily a strong Jew. Everything's might be working against you, and then you stand up like Mordechai did. You stand up and you say, Mordechai says he didn't kneel and he didn't bow. He stood strong with a taken. When we specifically do it here, that's even more important. And that's why Purim has a bigger strength than any of the other holidays. To the extent it says that when in the future, Mashiach is going to come, it says all the holidays, Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuos are going to lose their significance, it says. They're going to be nullified. Why? It says, in the darkness, if you take a candle, the candle lights up the whole room. If you go out in the sunlight, the candle doesn't mean anything. When Mashiach comes, the whole time will be like a Yom Tov spirit. So at that time, Pesach is not going to mean so much, because Geula, Mashiach, is greater than Pesach, is greater than Sukkot. Except, it says, one holiday will not be nullified. Purim will not be nullified. And the reason Purim will not be nullified is because Purim existed in a time when they were still servants of Achashverosh, when they were still in an exile, when they showed the distinction and were proud of being a Jew. That's what brought out the success of Purim, and that's the zchus and the merit that we have, that each one of us finds ourselves in 127 different countries.